You were the perfect leader for another time. She said that, in the middle of the live stream, sitting in my chair. There was applause. Of course there was. Behind her, the new logo I paid for. In front of her, the script I wrote last year. Same cadence, same bullet points. She just changed the colors and called it a reset. I watched from a small, windowless conference room 2 buildings down. No audience, no coffee, just a muted laptop and a single card key cut in half lying next to it. The chair creaked when I leaned back. Cheap leather, not mine. They replaced the furniture last week. No one told me. I didn't blink, just closed the screen, turned the old brass desk clock, the one with her name engraved on the back, once to the left, slipped it into a small wooden box along with a folded piece of paper. Didn't read it. Not yet. Next to it I placed a lapel pin, small, silver, etched with our original logo, the one we used before the rebrand. I stood, put on my coat, ran a hand along the inside lining, checking for something. It was still there. I paused at the door, took one last look at the muted laptop. The live stream was still going. She was smiling again, like the office was always hers. Outside, the air had that sharp, late winter edge, the kind that reminds you you're alive, even when you're not sure what for. I looked up toward Halvern's tower. The LED panel flashed. New era, bold future, right on schedule. My name is Louis Danner, 52, founder of Halvern Technologies, 19 years of industrial contracts, non-competes, federal clearances, and NDAs. I never missed payroll, never missed a shareholder call, never took a sick day in 13 years. And 3 years ago, I brought in Elena Nash, fresh from the valley, fast-talking, smarter than most. She said she wanted to learn, so I gave her every file I had, every contact, every blueprint, every mistake I ever made, annotated in the margins. She never asked for credit, just progress. I liked that. I made her COO in 16 months. Last Christmas, she gave me a fountain pen with my initials engraved. This morning, I found it missing from my drawer. I stepped into the flow of foot traffic. A few young employees brushed past me on the sidewalk. One of them was wearing a hoodie with the new slogan on the back. Didn't even look up. I crossed the street. Didn't slow down at the revolving doors. Didn't even glance at the lobby where my photo still hung. Maybe. I hadn't checked. The private garage was sealed to my access now. Security had changed the codes last night. They didn't tell me that either. So I waited at the curb. A rideshare pulled up. No logo. Just a plain black Camry. The driver didn't speak. Just tapped the screen. Pier 4? I nodded. We moved. In the back seat, I opened a leather folio I hadn't touched in months. Inside, a printout of last year's board resolution. 3 signatures at the bottom, hers among them, but not mine. A wrinkled business section from the Times, her photo. Caption, "The Future of Industrial Intelligence." And a note, handwritten, faded, her handwriting. If she forgets where she started, remind her where she's standing. I folded it back into thirds, carefully. No music, no message alerts, just the low hum of the road. Back at Halvern, the live stream was still rolling. She was walking the camera through the new structure. Transparency, agility, cultural reset. The teleprompter lagged for a second. She glanced off screen. Someone leaned into the shot, whispering something into the ear of a sound tech. He froze. She blinked. Her smile didn't return. Then she turned, not to the crew, not to the room, to the camera, direct, unscripted, like she saw someone in the lens, someone she didn't expect. She looked straight at the lens, like it was a mirror, but it wasn't. The note stayed in my pocket as the car moved along the harbor. I didn't read it again. I didn't need to. The words took me back anyway. 3 years earlier, the office still smelled like carpet glue and ambition. We were moving out of the old warehouse space and the one with the leaky skylight and metal stairs that rang like church bells. She was the last one out that night. Elena, intern, 26. No title, no office, but she had questions no one else thought to ask. She sat across from me while I boxed up blueprints. She didn't fidget, didn't pretend to be busy, just waited. "You wrote all these by hand?" she asked. I nodded. "Before the templates, before funding." She paused. "Then, why are you still here doing the boxing?" I smirked. "Because it's my name on the lease." She didn't laugh, just smiled and grabbed the next set of files. That's when I noticed. She had already color-coded the folders. We moved into the new tower 2 days later. Same crew, same chaos. But when the first investor call came in, she was the one who spotted the wrong draft on the agenda. Saved us a PR nightmare. Didn't ask for credit. I brought her to the next board meeting. No invite. I just told her to walk in. She sat in the back, quiet. Took notes like her life depended on it. Later that night, she emailed me a 5-slide correction deck, sharper than anything the paid consultants had delivered. The next morning, I moved her out of intern status. By month 6, she was managing logistics. By month 12, she was the only one I trusted with the federal compliance forms. We never talked weekends, never had lunch together, but I gave her the security clearance code I hadn't shared with my CTO. When the chief of operations resigned in that quiet scandal, the one with the non-disclosure payments, the board wanted an external hire. I said no. Elena had already stabilized 3 accounts and closed 2 retention contracts solo. "She's untested," Raymond, my second oldest advisor, warned. "She's fast," I said. "She's ambitious," he added. "That's not the same as loyal." I didn't answer, just stared out the window, then signed the promotion form. It took her 2 minutes to accept. 1, if you don't count the pause before she shook my hand. Things accelerated after that. New partners, new systems. She streamlined procurement, renegotiated back-end support, and digitized the training pipeline. Some of the older staff grumbled, said she moved too fast, didn't value legacy, but the quarterly numbers didn't lie. She smiled more in meetings, started wearing suits sharp enough to cut through investor skepticism. I asked her once if she ever wanted to start her own firm. She tilted her head. "Maybe one day," she said. "But I've still got a lot to learn." I took it as loyalty. Now I know it was roadmap. Last March, I brought her a document, a restructuring template meant to prep the org for international expansion. Nothing final. Just a framework. "I trust your instincts," I told her. "Clean this up however you think best." She nodded, took it with both hands, didn't ask a single question. 2 weeks later, she brought back a revised version. I flipped through it quickly, looked lean, focused. I signed on the back page, didn't check the appendix, didn't see the footnote under executive succession clause. Small, folded into the language of emergency delegation protocols. Didn't see my own name missing, didn't see hers added. The clause had changed, quietly, legally, permanently, and I handed her the pen. 2 days after the live stream, my office chair was gone, not removed, replaced. Sleek, white, ergonomic. I didn't sit in it. Instead, I stood by the glass watching the delivery guys roll out the last of my bookshelves. No one looked me in the eye. When I walked to the kitchen, the intern stopped talking. One of them smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the coffee machine. My name tag had been removed from the door. The door still existed. The name didn't. By noon, 3 different people had referred to me as Founder Emeritus. That wasn't a title, it was a eulogy. A notification popped up on my phone. Strategic Transition in Leadership. Attached, a press release with a quote from Elena. No mention of my name, not once. I searched the company site. The About Us page had been redesigned. Our origin story was now shaped by a vision of collective innovation. I checked the org chart. I wasn't on it. I went to the system to reinstate admin credentials. Access denied. Tried a second route through the legacy server. Redirected to Elena's executive assistant. I called legal. Everything she did, Is it binding? I asked. Silence. Then, she submitted the transition protocol 24 hours before the live stream. Your signature appears on the delegation framework. That legitimizes the shift. What about reversal? Would require full board review. And as of this morning, the board is aligned behind her. I didn't respond. I just hung up. That afternoon, I tried to use my card to reserve Conference 4B. The system flagged me as external consultant. Friday at 4 p.m., my access badge blinked red. No beep, no unlock. Just red. A junior VP held the door for me. Sorry, Mr. Danner. System updates. He smiled like it was a weather report. I walked past the marketing team. They were finalizing a branding video for investors. A young editor looked up from the timeline. Oh, hey, didn't realize you were, still in the building. Still, I stopped by IT. They had boxed up my backup drives for security compliance. You can request copies through Elena's office, the tech said without looking up. My own backups. In a box, behind a locked door. By the end of the week, someone leaked to Tech Digest that I had stepped down to focus on personal well-being. I didn't even have a statement prepared because I hadn't stepped down. Not officially, not voluntarily, but they had the narrative now. An old client called from Chicago. Hey, Lewis, is it true? Burnout? I stared at the phone. Didn't answer. There was a new post on the company's LinkedIn. Grateful to those who came before, but today is about what's next. Below it, a picture of Elena standing at the balcony, the one I designed myself. She was smiling, confident, untouchable. That night, I checked our internal knowledge base. She'd rewritten several onboarding modules, removed historical references to the founding team. Even the product names had been simplified. No trace of our early acronyms or private code names. It wasn't just a leadership shift, it was a deletion. On Monday, I tried to visit Raymond, my oldest advisor. We had lunch planned at the old spot. He canceled with a one-line text. Apologies, can't make it. No reschedule, no follow-up. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I drove home. Poured a drink I didn't want. Sat in the dark. Then opened a drive Elena had given me 3 months earlier. A backup of training content she said I might want to review. I clicked through old videos, mostly standard onboarding, until I hit one labeled Executive Readiness, Draft Only. In the video, Elena stands at the front of a conference room, gesturing toward a slide. Sometimes, founders hold on too long, and progress needs a quieter kind of courage, one that steps aside. I paused the video. Behind her, half obscured by a reflection on the projector screen, sat a printed contract. Not the one I signed. Earlier. I zoomed in. The executive succession clause was different. My name was there, still listed, which meant, at some point between that version and the one I signed, the clause was edited. And the video? Time-stamped 2 weeks before the live stream. She had filmed the training before the coup, before the retirement. She didn't improvise. She rehearsed. I didn't call anyone. Just printed the slide, the one from the training video. Cropped Elena's figure out. Enlarged the contract portion. Pinned it above my kitchen counter with a magnet shaped like a chess knight. Then I opened my backup laptop, the offline one. Pulled old drafts, timelines, timestamps. The metadata on the original succession framework. March 17th, 7:13 p.m. The video timestamp. March 10th, 11:48 a.m. She rehearsed the transition before the document even existed in its final form. I took it to someone I trusted, Barbara Ramos, regulatory compliance litigator. We'd worked together 15 years ago when the company was first setting up international operations. She scanned the documents in silence, then finally asked, "Did you submit this version to the board?" "No," I said. "This isn't the version I signed." Then someone amended it after approval and submitted that instead. She looked at me again. But unless you have proof of substitution or malicious intent, it's just sloppy procedure, not fraud. I asked, what if I still have the original email chain from legal? She didn't answer, just held out her hand. That night I dug out a dusty hard drive from the closet, plugged it in. The whir took 15 seconds to settle. I searched for succession, then delegation, then framework. There it was. An early draft. Signed by me, yes. But the executive override clause was completely different. No unilateral authority. No default triggers. Then I saw the email it was attached to. Subject, just a draft for review. Sent by Elena. March 8th. Below it, don't worry, the final version will come through legal. But no final version came. Just that one, modified later and filed quietly. I printed it, all of it, even the email headers. I organized the materials into a folder and sent it, anonymously, to 2 board members I knew still had a conscience. One was Alan Chen, someone I'd once helped through a personal lawsuit no one else on the board even knew about. No accusations, just a note. In case memory fades faster than responsibility. 2 days later, Alan asked me to meet, not at the office, but in a downtown cafe. He didn't order anything. Is it real? He asked, tapping the file. I nodded. He sighed. You know she's in talks with Hypervest, right? I didn't. They want to buy us. Full acquisition, NDA territory, but she's pitching it as a clean transition story. Founder moves on, no baggage. And I'm the baggage. She's been very persuasive, but this complicates things. Then he stood. I'll talk to some people, no promises. Next morning I received an envelope. Not from Alan, from corporate legal. You are hereby notified of a breach of confidentiality and misappropriation of internal assets. It went on. 5 pages. They were accusing me of using privileged documents after my retirement to disrupt investor trust. At the bottom, you have 10 business days to return or delete all proprietary material. I sent it to Barbara. They're prepping a civil suit, she said, not to win, to corner you. The board didn't respond to my packet. Alan stopped answering. Even my old assistant Grace replied with a generic out-of-office bounce back. By Friday, a press blurb went out. In light of recent misinformation, Stratus Core affirms its ongoing leadership evolution under Elena Marquez, whose vision continues to inspire both legacy partners and new investors. The phrasing was deliberate. Misinformation. That night I poured coffee I didn't finish, walked to the kitchen, looked at the magnet holding the printed slide. Then I heard it. Ping. New email. From R. Connolly, intrustgov.net. Subject, not deleted. I saw the original file too. R. Raymond is back, but what he has, and what he's willing to do, remains unknown. Raymond didn't knock. He just stood there, same blazer, same cautious eyes, holding a thin plastic folder. We hadn't spoken face-to-face in 4 years. He laid it on the kitchen counter like it weighed more than it should. Kept this off the network. Never deleted the backup log either, he said. It auto-archived to the intranet vault before the new version was submitted. Inside, a copy of the original succession document. Unaltered. Dated. Indexed by the governance system at 3:12 a.m. on March 9th. There's more, he said. The log shows 2 edits to the file within 30 minutes of each other, both from Elena's terminal. The second one added the executive override. I didn't say anything. He slid another paper forward. An internal memo from that same night. Subject, midnight clarification, succession. Only 3 recipients, legal, Elena, and me, blind copied. I'd never seen it. She forgot to clean her email metadata, Raymond said. SEC might care about that. Barbara took one look and nodded. This isn't criminal, but it violates internal compliance. If it reaches the right desk. She let the sentence hang, then added, they won't go after her, they'll freeze the transaction. We filed a request for internal audit hold through a channel Raymond had access to. Confidential, quiet, and procedural. 3 days later, a routine notification went out to Stratus Corps' legal department. Request for governance clarification. Succession clause modification record requested. Temporary freeze applied to pending structural decisions. Elena's office tried to spin it. Minor administrative snag. Regulatory hiccup. But Hypervest pulled back. They don't buy uncertainty. I didn't send a press release. Didn't leak anything. Just waited. 2 days after the withdrawal, Elena called. You think you won something? I think I stopped a mistake. You're sabotaging years of work. No, I said. I'm preserving something that mattered before you decided to rewrite it. You think you're noble? You could have buried me. I could have, I said, and let the silence stretch. Then I added, that's why I didn't. She didn't answer. Then quieter. What do you want? I want nothing. Pause. But you'll keep my name on the building, quietly, discreetly, and every report sent to the board will be copied to the Founders Archive. You'll keep it ceremonial, I'll keep it silent. You want oversight? No, I want memory. She hung up. By the end of the quarter, Elena was still CEO, but under compliance review. The merger talks didn't resume. Alan Chen stepped down quietly from the board. No press, no photos, just gone. They issued a one-sentence statement about legacy clarity. I received no settlement, no titles, no seat. But every major document from that point forward carried a small line in the footer, filed in accordance with Founders Protocol Archive, LD. I printed that one, framed it in the garage next to my first product prototype. Didn't tell anyone. Then I placed the original document, the unaltered version, inside a blank envelope. I drove to my mother's house. She wasn't there anymore, but the tools still were. And the old workshop safe. I put the envelope in, locked it, walked out without looking back. Lewis doesn't destroy the company. He preserves its core, without anyone noticing. Now it's no longer about Elena. It's about what he builds next, or whether he builds anything at all. The kettle clicked off on its own. I didn't rush to pour. Let the water settle first, like everything else now. I'd stopped using the electric grinder. The hand crank made noise I could trust, rough, honest, mechanical. It echoed in the quiet kitchen like an old friend clearing his throat. No headlines on the table, no laptop, just a small spiral notebook and a pen with no cap. I didn't check emails, didn't need to. Out back in the converted shed, the hull was halfway stripped. An old 1968 Boston whaler I found 3 towns over, rotted along the keel, but the bones were still good. 3 bolts were missing from the stern plate. I didn't order replacements. I milled them by hand. Aluminum, clean, imperfect. Mine. Raymond stopped by without calling. Didn't knock, again. Just leaned on the frame, holding a manila envelope. They're making her co-sign now, he said. Every quarterly decision. Not public, but board mandated. I didn't ask for more. Didn't need confirmation. Hypervest tried to return to the table, he added. Board didn't bite. I nodded once. He watched me file the edge of the 3rd bolt. You ever think of starting over? He asked. I looked at the unfinished hull. No, just doing it better this time. He left the envelope on the bench. I didn't open it. That night I cleaned the bench and pulled the drawer from the old steel cabinet. Inside, a small dented metal box with a faded black latch. I hadn't opened it since the day I locked the envelope inside. I didn't open it now either. Just placed something next to it. A flat brass key with no tag. Not from the house, not from the office. Just a key to something only I would remember. I closed the drawer, slid it back. Didn't lock it. In the morning, I walked to the shed with the coffee in a steel cup, no lid. The sun was still below the ridge. Everything smelled like cedar dust and fuel primer. I looked at the hull. 3 bolts, imperfect, bright, solid. Held everything in place. I ran my hand across the rail. No name on the boat yet. Maybe there never would be. She called it evolution. I called it erasure. Now I just build, and don't label it anything. The gentleman's revenge isn't loud, but it's always personal. If this felt personal, make it personal. Subscribe now, and don't miss tomorrow's story.